Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Sharp. We'll start right off where I guess we usually do, it seems, but with a little bit better news. The positivity rate in the state of Connecticut is down to 5% from 25%. You can't hear me? How about now? Okay. The positivity rate in Connecticut is down to 5% from 25%. Very, very good news. Hospitalizations have come down to 55 from 2,000 since our last time together. 0 employee cases at Meadow Ridge, 0 resident cases at Meadow Ridge, and all eligible employees will be boosted by tomorrow, which was not fun and a lot of heavy lifting on the part of our skilled nursing. Well, virtually everybody had to do a lot of things to get that done. Typically right now we're planning on reopening for vaccinated dining guests on February 21st. And even so, you know that we're gonna ask for proof of vaccination, and even Sarah Palin is not going to get into the dining room without showing proof. Well, you know, I had a contingent of residents from the community come to see me about a challenge that we had found with, getting people back from the hospital. It's very easy to get you there. We call 911, they send an ambulance, you go to the hospital, and then if you're not being admitted, they'll send you home. And this can happen at 3 in the afternoon, which is on a Thursday, which is rather, oh, there she is, which is rather convenient for us. It could also happen at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, which is not very convenient. So what we're working to do is to make sure that, one, is that every resident understands what the procedure is to make sure we get you back from the hospital safe, and also to make sure that not only do we have an initial plan, but that we also have backups in case something should happen. And as an example, we've set an account with Lyft, which is like Uber, and it's called a concierge service, which means you do not need an app on your phone to get a ride. You call us, our security team or our front office team, or reception team, can actually order the car for you, have you picked up, have you brought back, and it's billed to us. So this is a great service, and Lyft operates 24 hours a day, we think, or thought, and 365 days a year. And this all seemed like a really great plan until we had the threatening of the blizzard, what was that, 2 weeks ago? And then all of a sudden found out that Lyft decided to shut down operations at 5 o'clock. And wouldn't you know it, that somebody needed transportation for the hospital at 5:10. So, that idea of having Lyft in place is there, and we anticipate that Lyft is going to be able to fulfill our needs 99.99% of the time. But also we're going to now work on to make sure we have alternative options to back Lyft up. And you may have noted that Steve had mentioned something about the door access. And so you understand what that's all about. We also realize that when a resident may be coming back from the hospital at, 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe when they left they don't have their keys with them. And so how do they get back in the building? Well, now you can go to either the Ridgecrest exit entrance or the front entrance, pick up the phone, call security, and they can remote open it for you right from the office. So it's virtually, you pick up the phone and it's virtually instantaneous to get into the building. So again, this is a bit of a work in progress for us, but we do want to make sure that we have options and fail-safes so that when a resident needs to get back here from the hospital, that we've got a means of affecting that for them. And also, what I didn't mention, top line, is we've created and distributing little cards with the phone number on it, the process. So when a resident is going to the hospital, our EMTs will give them this card so they have it when they get there. So when it's time to come home, they've actually got the number and everything that they need to do right there. Okay. Did I forget anything? Okay. Next up is burning questions. And this is, I'd like to thank Mr. Sharp and Mr. Balsh, who keep their ears open around the water coolers and different places throughout the community and try to keep me up to date as to, what are the burning questions out there so we can answer them. One is always the solar project, and Mrs. Oslander will never let me slack on this, I promise you. So here's where we are. We have the money from Eversource, and we have two companies that have, really done all the hard work in telling us what this array should include and what the return on it's going to be. And now it comes down to, well, where are we going to put it? And because it's a lot bigger than we initially thought. And so, I know we had mentioned that we looked at the Meadow, but this is Meadow Ridge, and I don't know if many people want to look out to the Meadow and see solar panels. So then we talked about behind the tennis courts, and that is an easement area, and we're not allowed to build on there. So now we're back down to the employee parking lot and the slope that's near there. And so both of these companies are going back with their engineers and trying to find option 3. So that's where we are right now. We do have the money. We do have to start the project, means get a shovel in the ground before the end of 2024. So, we do have some time, but it's not that we're, kicking the can down the road. We're just trying to find the best option where we can get the best sized array with the best return on investment without really changing the character of the community in doing so. So that's what's up with the solar program. This is a little, preemptive. I had spoken with some residents. We're going to be sticking with the same provider, but also looking to upgrade our television service with additional channels and with a greatly enhanced internet speed. So, that's the first one on that. There's a few things we need to iron out. So this proposal includes, I think, 45 more channels, but the devil is always in the details, because when we looked at the channels, they didn't have the ones we really wanted, so it didn't make a difference that there was 45 more if they're not the channels that we need. So we're in a bit of negotiation with them. I'm going to try to make sure that this package of taking us from 80 channels to 125 channels, that it actually has the channels that our residents are going to want. And so stay tuned for that, but I think I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to make a deal with that and to bring you a really enhanced television product and internet product to your door. And also, I think that, with this new product, for those of you that have purchased on your own an enhancement to television or internet, we'll be able to forego that, and now it'll be all on our dime. Number 3, we're working on something we're calling a rest of life checklist. And that is to ensure that, our residents are prepared and know what they may need to do for something we never want to talk about, which is, the inevitable. And that's, so this is to be a resource for you in, do you have a POA? Is your refund assigned appropriately, or is it going to go to your estate? That's an ongoing challenge we have right now, is that our residents understand when they pass that their refund is going to go back. But if you don't assign it to someone, it goes to your estate, which means probate, which means time. And so, this is going to be another one of those areas we address to make sure you've determined where do you want that to go, and if you designate someone, that it's going to be done far more expeditiously. And also, and again, this is not stuff we like to talk about, but as a resource to your families after, and what they need to do to get the keys back in, to turn back the apartment, and how everything's going to work. So this is one of those projects, and thanks to, again, the Health Services Committee and Mr. Balsh and Mr. Sharp, for spearheading this. And, it's one of those things that, well, why don't we do this too and this too? So it's kind of growing, and I think it's going to be an incredibly comprehensive guide for us all with just about every question, hopefully, that could be asked that we'll have answered for you. So stay tuned for that. Next up is staff response to emails and phones went away, and suggestions to develop staff emails, the automatic reply feature that specifically indicates when the staff person will return. Yeah, this is, and know what we need to do on this, Christine? We need to send out an auto reminder to everyone, because in all honesty, I do forget sometimes. When I'm not, when I'm going to be off, that I'll forget to turn that on. And while I typically check my emails 7 days a week, when I do so and I'm actually off for the day, I'm not checking them every hour. I may check them once or twice a day. So in answer to that, we will endeavor to be far more consistent in turning on our away feature. I will say, if you're reaching out to a manager or director on a Sunday at 10 in the morning, chances are they're not working. So you're fine to send the email, but I think, we'll manage expectations a bit and have the auto response sent back to you that says, hey, I'm out of the office and I'll respond to your email on Monday. And also the next thing was mentioned that sometimes they're leaving voice messages for staff and they're not getting an answer. And that's just unacceptable. We'll speak to the team about that and make sure that everybody's getting a return call. No excuses for that, and that's something I think we just need to do better with. Next item was Sunrise and other vaccine-related bills invoices. I just got one this week, too, and it said, this is not a bill. Many of you don't know, but Sunrise just sent us a bill for $228,000 for testing they had done in 2020. Now, Mr. Gapsky, who is attacking this like a dog on a bone, has pushed back very aggressively, and we're anticipating that that number is going to go down significantly. Having said that, I took a really close look at what it was they were saying, and basically it says that they don't have my insurance information on file. So what I've done is I've taken a photocopy of both sides of my insurance card, and I'm mailing it back with the bill. And I know that, Mary's going to be helpful to, I think you've all been told to bring it to Mary. But the actual thing to do is that, please, take a copy of your Medicare card, would be Part B, I think, for this, and send that copy in, and we're happy to help you with that. All of this, these labs aren't doing this testing for free. At one point, they were billing it to what was called the CARES Act, but most of it's getting billed to insurance, private insurance, or to Medicare. So if you do get one from Sunrise and it's asking for your insurance information, let's try to provide that for them, and this way I don't get a bill for it. Thank you. Next, the new clubhouse. And it's funny, this was another thing that Stephen mentioned without context. We're looking at the lounges in the resident buildings. And, there's 3 of them, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor, and they all have tables in them, and they all looked incredibly unused and unwelcoming. And so, I remember kicking around an apartment, we found a pool table. And then a couple residents started asking for it. So what we're trying to do is reimagine those lounges. And in Laurel now on the 3rd floor, or 3rd floor? 4th floor. On the 4th floor, we've put up the pool table, and that will be a designated room to shoot pool. And we need to do a little bit more work in there. But then we also figured we definitely need a card room, because I know many residents get together and play cards, but we don't need 2 of them. So we're going to take another one of those lounges, and we're going to make it a media room. Christine has bought a 75-inch TV, and we're going to get a TV and some good soft seating and try to set that place up. If a group of residents want to get together and watch a movie, or the Super Bowl's upcoming, if a group of residents wanted to get together and watch the Super Bowl, that you'd be able to do so with plenty of seating, with a really nice-sized TV. And if we can get this all situated properly, then we'll replicate it in Maple and also in Spruce. And so that's the plan for that. They'll have internet in there. If you wanted to go in and work on a device, you'd be able to play cards, you'd be able to shoot pool, and who knows, maybe in Maple we'll have a hot tub in one or something. It could be. The next is a slow service in the main dining room. And several mentioned this. It may be because of server shortages. Really, that is it. We are slowly crawling back. But to put it in perspective, we were short 16 servers. So we haven't been at full staff, I think definitely not since I've been here. And, you know, we're trying to do everything we can to correct that. You know, I think we've upped wages, starting wages for servers by 33%. We're doing sign-on bonuses, referral bonuses, and we've changed our advertising and where we're advertising at great expense. And we're having some success. You know, a big focus for us is to make sure that we're doing a good job in keeping the ones that we have. We call these things stay interviews, where we're taking the temperature of the associates that we have on site and making sure we're keeping them so we don't take, you know, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And we are seeing some better results. Nothing great, mind you. They're trickling in. But we do recognize it's a challenge. We do appreciate your patience. But staffing it's a challenge everywhere. And it's not just here. The food and beverage, hospitality industries have been hit incredibly hard by this. You know, people they call it the Great Resignation, is that I think and this is coming from a guy, you know, I was in the hospitality industry for years. I owned restaurants. And, you know, for the first time in your life, when maybe you're sitting home on a Saturday night or you're home on a Sunday, you know, because of the pandemic, and then all of a sudden the pandemic's kind of over and people want you to come back and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. It's kind of changed the zeitgeist. And so it's people are not flocking back to those jobs as they had in the past. We are seeing some improvements. We are seeing demands for higher wages, which we're accommodating. But again, this is not something that is specific to Meadow Ridge. This is a problem throughout the country, and it's specifically acute in the hospitality and the healthcare industries, which covers about, you know, 80% of our associates. So again, I appreciate your patience. I apologize that times are slow. We are working to do better and to staff up, and that's what I have to say about that. One last item. Speaking of away messages, next week I will not be here. I am going to Mexico, okay? Because I heard they were building a wall, and I wanted to get over there before they got that thing up. And so, yeah, you know, my wife and I have dear friends who now live in Mexico, and we usually go every year to see them. And we hadn't been in a couple because of the pandemic, so we thought that we'd try again. And so I'll be gone, and then I'll be back on Monday the 21st, and I will be MOD that day too. So